ladies and gentlemen, this is yours truly, Sam Sneek and the Dirty Old Men. We'd like to do a song here for you called The Two Old Maids. This particular song has been around as long as you have. And we always use it when we've got about 15 requests and only 10 minutes to do them in. You'll find all your favorites in it. Ready, boys? Two old maids laying in a bed, one turned over and the other one said, well, I don't hurt anymore. Two old maids laying in a bed, one turned over and the other one said, you ain't nothing but a hound. You're drunk all the time. You ain't nothing but a hot dog. Two old maids laying in a bed, one turned over and the other one said, I've got a tiger by the tail. I won't be much. Did you hear the story about the two old maids who got on a drunk? They damn near killed him. Did you hear the one about the old maids walking down the street, happened to pass by a barber shop, and one old maid thought she recognized her boyfriend sitting in the chair, so she stuck her head in the door and said, Bob Peters here? And the barber said, no, ma'am, we just give shaves and haircuts. And the story about the one old maid who found the tramp under her bed, and her stomach was on the bum for the rest of the evening. Two old maids laid in a bed, one turned over to the other one said, ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bing, bang. Ooh, ah, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bing, bang. Two old maids laid in a bed, one turned over and the other one said, just remember the river valley and the cowboy. Speaking of cowboys, did you hear the story about the young lady that was a tourist down in Texas? She walked in this bar, and here stood this boy about 6'4", 220 pounds. She walked up to him, she said, are you a real Texan? He said, yes, ma'am, down here in Texas, we just naturally grow 'em big, 6'4", 220 pounds. She said, you know, I'd just love to put my arms around your chest. He said, anything to oblige, ma'am, just go right ahead. So she put her arms around his chest and said, ooh, you've got the biggest chest? He said, yes, ma'am, down here in Texas, we just naturally grow 'em big, 6'4", 220 pounds. I'd just love to go out with you. So they went out. About an hour later in the motel room, the young Texan, he looked up at the young lady. He says, ma'am, he says, are you sure you aren't from Texas, too? The other one said, let me go, let me go, let me go, lover. Two old maids laying in a bed, one rolled over to the other one said, let me tell you about the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees, the little white dove. Two old maids laying in a bed, one turned over and the other one said, did you hear the story about the two old maids sitting at the bar, and the bartender was mixing the drinks a little bit strong, and one old maid looked at the other and said, you know, if I have another one of these drinks, I'd feel it. And the other old maid said, if I had another one of these drinks, I wouldn't give a damn who fell. There was a lot of confusion there. All of a sudden, one of the girls let out a scream, help! Somebody geesed me. The bartender, being an educated man, he went over and he said, what's the matter, lady? She said, somebody geesed me. He said, you mean goosed it. She said, no, I can tell when there's more than one finger in there. Two old maids laying in a bed, one turned over and the other one said, I'm back in the saddle again. Two old maids laying in a bed, one rolled over and the other one said, did you hear the story about the two old maids that got caught in a haunted house? And this ghost was going around scaring the daylights out of everybody. They walked up to the first old maid, said, hocus pocus. Walked up to the second old maid, said, hocus pocus. Second old maid, she's just a little bit braver than her sister. She jumped up out of the bed and looked that ghost right straight in the eye and said, forget about that hocus. Then there's the one about the old maids walking down the street. One thought she recognized her girlfriend across the street, punched her sister and said, Say, isn't that Hortense over there? And the other one said, why, no, she looks perfectly relaxed to me. Two old maids laying in a bed, one turned over and the other one said, it keeps right on Two old maids laying in a bed, one rolled over and the other one said, give me 5 minutes more, only 5 minutes more. Two old maids laying in bed, one rolled over and the other one said, I got the hungry for your love, and I'm awaiting in your welfare life. Two old maids laying in bed, one rolled over and the other one said, here's the story about the two old maids that went on a diet. One was trying to diet, and the other was dying to try it. Also about the old maid that went halfway to San Diego before she realized the 17-inch Admiral is a TV set. Two old maids laying in a bed, one rolled over and the other one said, I'm in the nude for love. Two old maids laying in a bed, one rolled over and the other one said, put your arms around me, honey, hold me tight, huddle up and huddle up with all your might. Oh. Hear about the absent-minded old maid that worked in the hospital. She made the patient without disturbing the bed. Also about the two old maids that were walking down the street and happened to pass a barber shop where the barber was inside giving a customer a beetle haircut. He was singeing the man's hair, and one old maid looked at the other and she said, do you smell hair burning? And her sister said, why, no. Why? Do you think we're walking too fast? Two old maids laying in bed, one over and the other one said, I can't give you anything but love, baby. Two old maids laying in a bed, one rolled over and the other one said, you know, the other night I was feeling pretty good, and I picked this young lady up. We went out of town and was parking, and I was talking to her and what have you. And all of a sudden, a big flashlight hit me in the face, and I looked up, and there was this big law enforcement officer. And he said, what are you doing in there? And I said, nothing, officer. He said, then you get out here and hold the flashlight and let me in there. I took a good look, and I said, oh, officer, I was just making love to my wife. He said, oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were making love to your wife. I said, I didn't either till you turned that flashlight on her. Did you hear about the musician that was trying to get out of the insane asylum? And every month the doctor would come around and ask him the same question. Buddy, what are you going to do when you get out of this hospital? He said, well, Doc, because there's no women, and they don't give me nothing to drink, I'm so mad, he said, when I get out of here, I'm going to break every window out of this damn place. So the doctor naturally wrote rejected on the slip, and after about 12 of these examinations, even the nut began to wise up. So the next time the doc asked him for the umpteenth time, what are you going to do when you get out of this place? He said, Doc, first thing I'm going to do is go downtown and buy me a car. And I'm going to take in a drive-in movie. Then I'm going to pick me up a good-looking girl, have a few drinks. The doctor says, boy, you're getting some sense. Then what are you going to do? We're going to park under a shade tree. Doc says, now you're getting some sense. Then what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to reach over and give her a great big kiss. Doc says, then what are you going to do? Nut says, I'm going to take my hand, reach up under her dress. Doc says, man, you got sense. Then what are you going to do? He says, I'm going to take off her panties. Doc says, you know what? He says, now you're getting some sense. Doc says, then what are you going to do? Nut says, I'm going to take the elastic out of her panties, make me a slingshot, come back and break every window out of this damn place. Two old maids laying in a bed, one rolled over and the other one said, welcome to my world. Say, you know, we've had quite a few songs requested here tonight, and we don't know the tunes or the words to any of them, but we'll try and learn them. Here's a good one right up here on top. Get off the table, Mabel. The $2 is for beer. Oh, I like this one better. Get back on the table, Mabel, and to hell with the beer. Here's another one. Oh, this is a pretty one. I call my sugar candy because she makes my peanut brittle. Say, now that I've got everybody's attention, I'd like to ask a little riddle. Do you fellas know the difference between a light sleeper and a hard sleeper?
No, what's the difference?
Nobody knows the difference. Oh, darn. Well, a light sleeper sleeps with the light on, and a hard sleeper sleeps with a...
Hold it.
Oh, well, you got a one-sex mind. All I was going to say is a hard sleeper sleeps with the window open about this far. Two old maids laying in bed, one rolled over and the other one said, yes, we have no bananas. We have no bananas.